When we hear the word retirement, the first thing that usually comes to mind is money. We imagine a well planned financial portfolio, a pension, savings, investments, and security. For decades, society has conditioned us to prepare for retirement as though it were only a financial event, a transition from earning to spending. But the truth is, money is only half the story, and sometimes not even the most important half. You can retire with wealth in the bank and yet feel completely poor inside. You can retire rich in material assets but bankrupt in spirit. This is why emotional retirement matters more than you think. Emotional retirement is about the inner preparation, the unseen wealth that determines how fulfilling the later chapters of your life will be. Imagine walking away from your job after 30 or 40 years. Your colleagues clap for you, your boss gives a farewell speech, and perhaps you receive a plaque or a gold watch. The next morning you wake up, and for the first time in decades, there is no office waiting, no emails, no deadlines, no meetings. At first, it may feel liberating, but soon a deeper question creeps in. Who am I now? When your work is no longer your identity, when the external structure disappears, what is left of you? That question terrifies many people because we have spent our lives investing in financial security, but very little in emotional security. Consider the story of a man I met once. He had retired as the CEO of a major company. His retirement party was grand, his bank balance impressive, yet within 6 months he had slipped into depression. Without his role, he felt invisible, as though his worth had expired along with his job title. Another woman I spoke with had been a dedicated teacher for 40 years. She loved her students, her colleagues, and the sense of purpose that came with guiding young minds. When she retired, she expected to feel free, but instead she found herself restless, snapping at her family, and unsure of her place in the world. These are not isolated cases, they are the silent reality of thousands who discover too late that money alone does not protect them from emptiness. Emotional retirement is about building wealth in 5 invisible accounts: identity, connection, purpose, resilience, and joy. Just as you diversify your financial investments, you must also diversify your emotional ones. Without identity capital, you are left questioning your value when the job ends. Without connection capital, loneliness creeps in. Without purpose capital, days stretch long and meaningless. Without resilience capital, even small setbacks can crush you. And without joy capital, life becomes a series of empty hours, no matter how comfortable the house or how luxurious the vacations. Think about identity. For most of our lives, when someone asks us who we are, we answer with our profession. I am a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, an engineer. But what happens when you no longer are that? Identity capital means building a self that is bigger than your business card. It means rediscovering your passions, your roles as a friend, a parent, a mentor, a creator. It means remembering that your worth was never tied to your title in the first place. Now think about connection. Work often gives us a built-in social life. Colleagues, clients, networks, they keep us busy and feeling engaged. But when work ends, many people discover that they don't have true friends outside the office. Connection capital is about investing in real relationships, nurturing bonds with family, strengthening friendships, and creating new circles of community. Loneliness is one of the biggest killers in retirement, not because people don't want company, but because they never learn to build it outside of work. Purpose capital is equally essential. Humans are wired to seek meaning. We are happiest when we feel that our lives matter to someone or something beyond ourselves. In retirement, productivity as society defines it may end, but purpose does not have to. Many retirees find meaning in volunteering, mentoring, spiritual practice, or creative pursuits. Some turn to art, some to service, others to travel with intention. The form does not matter. What matters is that you wake up in the morning knowing why the day is worth living. Resilience capital is the strength to adapt when life does not go according to plan. Retirement can bring unexpected health issues, financial changes, or the loss of loved ones. Those who have resilience can bend without breaking. They have cultivated inner resources through mindfulness, gratitude, or a deep acceptance that life will always change. Without resilience, even the smallest storm can feel like the end of the world. With it, even great challenges can be navigated with grace. And then there is joy capital, perhaps the most underestimated of all. Joy is not about grand celebrations or expensive pleasures. It is about the small rituals, the hobbies, the laughter, the music, the simple things that make life light. People who invest in joy before retirement find it easier to carry happiness into their later years. Those who never learned how to cultivate daily delight often find themselves restless, chasing distractions instead of experiencing genuine contentment. The reason emotional retirement matters more than you think is because it determines the quality of your years far more than money alone can. Studies consistently show that beyond a certain level of financial security, wealth does not significantly increase happiness. What does make the difference is emotional health, social connections, and a sense of meaning. In other words, what you deposit into your soul bank is what truly sustains you when the paychecks stop. Some people may think they can figure it out once they retire, but emotional wealth does not work that way. Just as financial security requires decades of planning and discipline, so does emotional security. You cannot suddenly create deep friendships overnight. You cannot manufacture purpose the day after your farewell party. You cannot learn resilience only in the middle of a crisis. Emotional investments must be made steadily over years with conscious effort. So, how do you begin? Start by asking yourself, what is my identity beyond work? Who are the people I can count on? And who can count on me? What gives me meaning beyond productivity? How do I respond to change and setbacks? What are the small things that bring me joy today? These questions are not abstract. They are deposits into your emotional retirement plan. Imagine your emotional retirement as a portfolio. If all your investments are in work, the moment you retire, your portfolio crashes. But if you have invested in multiple accounts, self, relationships, purpose, resilience, and joy, you have a diversified emotional wealth that will carry you forward. This is not just theory, it is practical life-saving preparation. The irony is that we spend so much time preparing for financial freedom, but neglect the very freedom that makes money meaningful. Emotional retirement does not dismiss the importance of financial planning, it completes it, because what is the use of having money to travel if you feel too lonely to enjoy it? What is the use of living in a beautiful home if you have no one to share it with? What is the use of a long life if you cannot find joy in the days? The next time you think of retirement, remember this. Money may buy you comfort, but it cannot buy you identity. It cannot buy you real friendship. It cannot buy you resilience or inner peace. It cannot buy you joy. These are currencies that must be built, protected, and grown long before the retirement party. Why does emotional retirement matter more than you think? Because it is the difference between simply surviving and truly living. It is the difference between counting the days and making the days count. It is the difference between being financially wealthy and being emotionally rich. And when the curtain falls on our working years, it is not the balance of our bank account that defines us, but the wealth we hold in our hearts. That is the investment worth making. That is the plan worth committing to. And that is why emotional retirement is not just an idea. It is the missing half of retirement planning that no one should ignore.